Welcome all you lovely people to the first daily Bitcoin for beginners video. I've been getting a lot of messages and requests on my Instagram channel to do a series of videos or podcasts about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So what I've decided to do is a daily video, assuming it all goes well, recapping what's going on with the Bitcoin and crypto markets. And as we move along that journey, hopefully I can share some interesting insights which will help you with your own crypto investments. So let's have a look what's going on. And it's a fascinating day to start with these videos because, as you may have seen already, it's all over the news and social media. Crypto is selling off hard today. Bitcoin down 20%, Ethereum down 25%, Litecoin down 30%, Chainlink 21%. And it shows no signs of slowing down at the moment. They're continuing to sell off as we speak. I'm even getting messages about the drop. So what do we make of all this? Unfortunately, it doesn't make me happy to say that the UK is kind of partly responsible for what's going on. And you've had over the weekend HSBC and other unnamed banks saying that they will not accept transactions from Bitcoin exchanges anymore. What they mean is crypto exchanges. Should we be concerned about this? My opinion is we should not be concerned about this too much. Now, I believe that HSBC have to be very, very careful right now with all of their actions because they're under a lot of scrutiny with regulators. Funnily enough, they have been doing lots of illegal activities such as money laundering for drug cartels and other similar dodgy practices. I find it interesting that it says other unspecified banks. That's extremely vague. So what this strikes me as is fear-mongering, and this is no surprise. We should expect a lot of this. Well, this happens all the time. These sorts of stories, messages being put out there in the media about Bitcoin. And I would expect lots more of it as we move forwards. If you bank with HSBC, then of course you're going to have to figure out a alternative solution if and when you do choose to sell. But the good thing is there are many banks, and assuming there's no coordinated effort from all UK banks, which I find impossible, then there will be banks that I'm sure will be happy to accept your profits if the others don't want to take them. So I think this is a lot of noise and nothing to be worried about. There's no, Bitcoin isn't getting banned or being regulated, although derivatives are, but that's completely different. I think the other thing that's happening is that Bitcoin whales, so people that have a lot of Bitcoin are taking the opportunity to take some profits. This is going to happen again each time we make massive moves. Then there's an opportunity for profit taking, and this is often why we have these random sell-offs. They happen. It's impossible for a normal person like us to predict when that's going to happen. Don't listen to other YouTubers when they say that they know when the crash is coming, because they're usually talking nonsense. So I think there's a combination of this profit taking, the news from HSBC. The dollar is also very strong today. I'm not going to get into the details there because I think it's not that interesting, but a confluence of these factors and the fact that Bitcoin has gone up so quickly recently. Let's have a look. In the last, let's say 3 weeks or so, maybe 4 weeks, Bitcoin has gone up 140%, which is obviously a huge, huge move. And there has to be a time when we have a correction, and it's happening right now. I definitely see this more as an opportunity to buy if you have any cash on the sidelines. And certainly, I don't believe you should be looking to sell here. I don't believe we should be looking to sell at all over the next 6 to 9 months until we reach the peak of this cycle, which we'll go into in more detail in a future video, I'm sure. So what's happening on price? Well, Bitcoin down 20%, it's down $7,500 to $30,000. You know, we went up very quickly. We were up at $42,000. We've had this sell-off. You can see my trend line here, my trend line here. At some point, we'll discuss how I got those. But whilst we stay above those, and I know we're dipping below, but what matters is what happens over the rest of the day. You see this one here went slightly below, but then went straight back up. If I was going to guess what was going to happen next, I think we come up slightly and close above these lines, and then from that point I would expect us to continue upwards. If we don't, maybe we come into this line here, that would still be very healthy. And to be honest, as long any correction up to 40% or so, which would put us at this line at $24,000, would be healthy. So even if this gets more painful, then I wouldn't get too stressed about it. See it as an opportunity to buy and accumulate, because $30,000 is still very, very cheap Bitcoin. When it gets to $300,000, it will look really, really cheap. Ethereum is very similar. There's not much to say. It's kind of following Bitcoin here. It can still go a lot lower. I would, as long as it stays above less than 50% correction, then I think we're comfortable. So probably about to this line at $712. And again, if I was going to guess, I'd say that we close the day here about $1,000, and then we continue upwards from that point. I won't go into the other altcoins now, because I think it's just important that we focus our minds on this correction here. The only mistake that you could make right now is to sell your crypto. You don't want to be selling after a 20% drop, 26% drop. That's literally the only mistake you can make here. We might say that that is what the banks want you to do, and usually it's a good idea to not do what the banks want you to do. So stay strong, focus your mind. There's going to be many corrections like this over the next 6 to 9 months. In the last cycle, we had 6 30% pullbacks. So far, we've just had 3 20% pullbacks. At the moment, what is Bitcoin down? Let me have a look. At the moment, Bitcoin is down, it went down 27%. So that still is very much in line with what we've seen in the last cycle in 2017, and nothing to be concerned about. Again, if you have any cash on the sidelines, now would be a really, really good opportunity, I believe, to get your Bitcoin and Ethereum at very, very cheap discounted rates. The final thing which I wanted to cover was, this is one of my favorite charts. It shows the previous Bitcoin cycles, 2012 in dark blue, 2016 in light blue, and 2020 in red. You can see that we're following both cycles. We're right in the middle. You can also see that between month 5 and month 9, we went straight up. And the last cycle, we had a couple of pullbacks around this time. It seems like we've perhaps skipped one in the middle here, and now we're going to have one. So we're probably going to come into this light blue line here, and then we're going to continue upwards. Again, this looks great. If we start dipping below the royal blue line, then that's, you know, perhaps a time when we'll start having a closer inspection of what's going on. but I don't expect that to happen. I think we're going to come down into the royal blue and then continue somewhere up here. I hope that was useful, interesting. I'm going to try and keep these quite short because I'm going to do them every day. Hopefully I might do a longer one at the weekends to recap the week that we've had. And I'd love to hear from you, and for you to let me know what you would like me to cover. If you want me to do this a little bit differently, then leave a comment below or send me a message. Take care.